Alright guys, we're gonna try and take this pump apart. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs to take this whole unit apart here. There's also a couple of connectors up here, so we'll get those off. You can see 2 connectors, one for the sending unit for the level of your fuel. The other one is for the pump. So we'll take those off first. Sending unit. You might need a little persuasion. Just be careful, these are probably brittle from being in gasoline for so long. Okay, so that's one. The fuel pump is off to the side, right here. Okay, so those are off. This fuel line is really on there. I'm going to just first take off the tabs and see what we're in for. So just lift a little bit on that one, get it to the edge. Just take your time. Don't rush it. There's no race here. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm letting gravity help me. I'm holding the unit. You can see some gasoline is still coming out. It's great to have an old bench where you could replace the plywood if that's the route you go, or you can put things down. But no, this is a messy job. It's not going to be one of those that you want to always tackle. But again, I'm going to save myself $800, maybe let's say $600 by the time I'm done, rather than going to the dealer. And I'm doing this as a preventative maintenance because I have 180,000 miles. You just never know when a pump's going to go out. That's the only problem. Alright, so it looks like the sending unit is what's the hang up right now, so I'll take that off and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, I was able to get this loose. There's an O-ring in here that was kind of holding things up. There's also a flapper that you got to check the connection, but look at some of the dirt that's in here. Look at how dirty this filter is. Again, to get this sensor off, all I had to do was do this tab, slide it up because it has a slider in the back, kind of like a picture frame where you have the larger hole and then it goes smaller for the shaft. And that rode on here, right in here you can see the T. So once that was loose, it came off. But again, look at all that dirt. Please make sure you're also ventilating or you're working outside. I have a garage door open here. It's raining outside, so I get a good draft through here. I'm going to use a carb cleaner that's also sensor safe and wash everything out. And I'll show you the new Denso pump that I got. That's what Toyota uses. You see Denso right there. So that's kind of things to think about. We're going to save quite a bit of money on this one because, like I said, it's going to be about $800 at the dealer or the local shop if they're going to replace the whole unit rather than do all this. You, the consumer, can go and just change this filter in the motor, and that's all really that you need to worry about. O-ring looks great. You got to take your time. If it doesn't, you can always go to the dealer and get one. Alright, I'll clean this and then I'll bring the new motor and we'll look at all the components. Alright, here's the Denso pump that I got. I'll let you see that up here, and just to let you know, this is basically the OE pump that and filter that goes into here, and I'll show you that here just a second. Okay, so what you get is the pump and filter. See, it actually looks the same details. Look at how the new filter looks versus that old filter. And oh, by the way, while I was cleaning this out, you know those little tinfoil pieces that that come into the for the bottles when people put additives in? I found one in here. So this pump sucked up one of those little aluminum foil deals. I'm second owner of this car, so I don't know. I usually am careful. I take it all out. Could it have been me? Could it have been the previous owner? I don't know. But it was sitting in there, probably restricting the flow. Anyways, so look at how nice and clean this new filter is. We'll put that back in here, keep it clean. The new kit comes with O-ring. It comes with all kinds of things to change, the little fuel line. We'll look and see about all this stuff here. I think they include this in here just in case you have to cut the end off of your fuel line because of how strict it is. And some stuff to do electrical work, I guess, in case your plug isn't in good condition. So I'll be looking at that here, so I'll put that off to the side. Comes with some instructions. Okay, the removal instructions, so it's good. I'll go look through those. Basically, it has a lot of the detail. I should have probably looked at this before I took all that apart. But we'll go through. I'll go through this and then come back and take care of the pump. And then here's the pigtail splicing and what to look for, the length. So they give you quite a bit of information on how to do it. And this is a particular pump for the Toyota. So I'll put that here to keep it clean. And let's see, the pump unit. It's right here. It's a little different than the OE one, but I bet that's because there's improvements going on. There's also that filter cover. So we'll see how that ends up. Nice plastic. Everything came nicely wrapped. So we'll keep going on with this. All right, guys, one of the things I've noticed just looking at this and the pump, you want to get down to, there's a couple of tabs in the pump at the bottom that actually capture the pump down here. And there's no way to really get in here without getting this unit off. Thankfully, this hose, I don't have to mess with it. If I undo these tabs, take it off, and go this way. I'm sure there's an O-ring under here. I would say that's going to be more robust than trying to mess with that hose. It is dry. It's not that it's a dry hose. It is looser type plastic, or I should say a stiffer type plastic, not looser. So sorry, I'm trying to look at this, make sure we're videotaping and all that. So there is a little prying here. Just take your time. It's not a race, not a hurry. If you are rushing, that's where the mistakes will happen. So just slow. I made sure there's no tabs now, and just slowly pry. There we go. So there's a nice O-ring. We maintained the integrity of the O-ring. We didn't break this off. Now, to get this unit off of here, I noticed there's one little clip. So I need to take this clip off to be able to get that off of here. So I should be able to just compress that and slowly pry a little bit with the screwdriver. There we go. And take it off, and then this whole unit now should be able to come loose like that. Put that here, and then so I don't lose the clip, and know where it should go. I'm going to put that back. That's probably one of the best things you could do to remember where things are at, is just put it back. So make sure it's secure too so it doesn't fall off later. Okay, after playing around with this for a little while, I noticed the pump has got solid tabs. It's not going to squeeze in. And whoever designed this was thinking of servicing. These little cutouts here, there's these little tabs that you can see here holding onto the pump, and you can see a little bit of it right there. So you can get a screwdriver under that and lift it and just hold that there. So then you get another screwdriver for this one, hold it there, and with the connector removed, you should be able to just push on the pump and get it out. So it's going to be some work because there's an O-ring here. It's holding you back, but just keep trying to budget, maybe try to pull on this end. You know, just keep wiggling it and moving it. You can see one of them came loose. I'm trying to photograph for you guys, videotape for you guys and do this. So kind of keep those tabs moved off and then wiggle and jiggle and do whatever you need to get this pump unit out. And I'll keep doing that. It's going to be a little bit of work. Okay, I got it out, and as you can see, the tabs are not movable. O-ring is there. One of the things I had to do was I got a larger screwdriver, and I put it on top, wedged this, and then moved it over so it was on. So when it came onto this tab, I was able to get it between the pump and the tab, which raised it enough on the one side. But I still had to go in there with a smaller screwdriver from here and kind of wedge it with both of them just to get it past the tab. And then as I did that, it was very cumbersome. And then I just pulled the pump and it came right out in my hand. So as you can see, this is the old unit. Here's going to be the new unit. It looks the same, 2 tabs, everything. New O-ring will go in there that came with the kit. There's a new clip for the filter, so I'm not going to even bother with this. I'm just going to keep this, put it away in a plastic bag in case this pump ever fails and I need to go in there. By then I'll probably have 300,000 miles on this car, so we'll see how that goes. But this Toyota Highlander has been very, very good to me, so I want to make sure I don't get stranded because of, look at all this crud. I mean, it is filthy. Time to change it. Okay, it's time to assemble the pump and get it ready to go in there. I've got an O-ring puller there just to pull the old O-ring. So this has a clip here, and then you have a little clip that keeps that in there as well. So you take this off and you snap this on and make sure it's in there good, right? And then you need that little clip, which they include in the packet. So let's get that out of here. A lot of parts in here. Because this covers so many models from Toyota, they included all the different types of pumps that you can do or situations you might run into. But I'm only looking for this guy right here that goes on there, and you could see that with this old one. Oops, sorry. Just that clip, just like it is, and then that little clip there holding it down. Of course, it's facing up, so you want to make sure you face it the same way. This clip is facing this way, and so we'll put that on there. Okay, so I was able to get it on with just a screwdriver and some pressure with my finger on this side and then working it around. And now you got to make sure it's nice and secure. It's down there. You could use the old one as a reference as to how far it should stick out, and it's about the same. So it's always good to take your time. Look at that big difference. I just can't even go into that. All right, so now we take this out. We put the O-ring on here so that, well, I'm going to put the O-ring on here first. I don't want to be able to cut it, and sometimes it's better to put the O-ring in and then push everything in that way. Oh, the O-ring is by itself. Oh, that's interesting. I guess so that it doesn't get cut. There we go. So we can put that on here. And you know this is going to drive all the way home. I'm going to take the old one out. And guess what? Because this lives in gasoline, take and put a little gasoline on here. I don't like to use different types of lubricants. Heck, where's the gasoline when you need it, right? Okay, so there is this little tab on here too. I must have missed that. They do include that in here. It holds, it just shuts over the O-ring, so that was a mistake. Let me get that on here. It's always good to look at the old one again for reference. And that looks like it pushes the O-ring in place too. So this was in there. So I lubricated the new one with, lubricated the new one there, put that piece on there. Now it's just a matter of pushing this in and being gingerly so that you don't cut the O-ring. There we go. It's all in there. I know the O-ring went well because it felt good. Everything is in. So there was enough gas that came out of this filter, and I could have changed this unit here, but man, I think this filter cleaning and then that should be fine for a long time. I don't foresee any issues with the one in here. Anyways, let's keep going. We got to put this back in here, and first I got to do this guy, so we'll work backwards. It's always exciting when you get to close to the end here. So before I do that, I'm going to put this guy on so that it will not cause me any issues trying to get them on later. So do that. All right. And again, that's going to go in there. So now I'm going to take this clip off. There's a little persuasion here. Okay. And there we go. And use that clip to hold everything. I'm trying to get that clip back in, guys. Sorry, I don't have multiple angle cameras or anything. This is very low budget. You're basically watching me do my car maintenance or preventative maintenance. So that clip is on. Now that unit is in there. We'll put this back. Again, there's an O-ring there, so just be nice and gingerly. Don't force anything. Just wiggle it till it goes in. It's going to find its home. There we go. That is on, so we have this hose here, and we have this guy. This is the pump. It goes into this here. All right. And then the sending unit will go on last. Now this slides in here. We have to be careful again of the O-ring in here. There's that little flapper. I cleaned everything with that carb cleaner. Just got to make sure everything looks good, which it does. And we just slide that. So the O-ring is going to give you trouble with that clamping. But this is the time where you get it up this way and you just wiggle and try to push down till it kind of goes in there. And the O-ring is seated. You want to make sure all these clips have gone in. There's no gaps here. All right, so now to get the sending unit on, it's a matter of putting that right here, going up, and then it goes down there, and that clicks in place. So the sending unit is in, and then that clips up onto here. And you're done. Now this goes back into the tank and gets sealed up. But everything looks good right now. We'll put it in and then test it before I clamp everything down. You know, put the hose, the fuel line back on, the power back on, make sure everything goes on, and then we could go ahead and fasten everything down for that one last time, because those covers, those plastic covers, you know, I'll just put it on loosely because it's not pressurizing the tank, it's pulling all the pressure through here before I go tighten it all the way, just to make sure everything is functional. All right, that's the next step.